All right. Before we start the notes, we're going to go over the vocab we need, and for today, it's just integer. So an integer is the set of numbers made from whole numbers and their opposites. Okay, so a whole number, it's not going to be a fraction, it's not going to be a decimal, okay, but it can be positive or negative. So 1 is an integer, the opposite of 1 is -1. -17 is an integer. Its opposite is just +17. It could be -59. Could be +123. Okay? Any number, not a fraction, not a decimal, positive or negative, and 0 is included in that. All right, so now let's flip to your 1.1 notes. We're going to start with our I can statement, which is I can model addition on a number line. Okay. And I know that you might have learned how to add and subtract with negatives before, but I want you to practice doing it this way. Okay, this is a skill that we're going to need later in the year, and so we're going to make sure that we're really, really solid on number lines, how to go positive and negative before we get to that. So when you're adding integers on a number line, the first number in the problem tells us where to start on the number line. Okay, so in the example 1 + 7, I know you know what that is. Okay, the point of this one is to practice what we know. Okay, the first number is 1. So I would start on 1. So on my number line, this side goes smaller towards the negatives. To the right is larger and more positive. So it goes 0, 1. Okay. Then the second number, so 7, when we're adding, tells us how many steps, so how many and which direction. So this 7 tells me that I'm going to go 7 steps. If it's positive, it either goes to the right or up. And if it's negative, it goes left or down. Okay. So I'm adding a positive 7. That's positive. We're talking about side to side, so I'm going to go right. Okay. So from where I start, from 1, I'm going to go to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Then I put a dot where I landed and an arrow so I know which way I went. Make sure you're writing in pencil. I'm writing in pen so you can see it. But you need to be writing in pencil, okay? Okay. All right, so I figured out where I landed. Now I'm just going to count on my number line to figure out what number that is. 5, 6, 7, 8. So that means since I ended on 8, that means that 1 + 7 is 8. And I know you know that 1 + 7 is 8. All right, let's do this with the negative number. 8 plus -3. My first number is 8. So I start on 8 on the number line. So 5, 6, 7, here's 8. Scooch it down. There we go. Okay. The second number tells me how many steps I'm going to go. It's a -3. So I'm going to go 3 steps. It's negative. Negative numbers go left. So I'm going to go left. 3 steps. So from 8, I'm going to go to the left 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Draw an arrow pointing at where I landed, and I put my dot where I graphed it, where I landed. It landed on 5, so 8 plus negative 3 is 5. Okay. All right, so these ones are vertical, so we're going to focus on this up and down section. But the process is still the same. So negative 3 plus negative 4. My first number in there tells me where to start. So I'm going to start on negative 3. Okay. On a vertical number line, it goes positive as it goes up and more negative as it goes down. So starting at 0, it goes negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the number next to 0 is always some iteration of 1. If it's on the positive side, it's a positive 1. If it's on the negative side, it's a negative 1. 1 is always closest to 0. Okay. All right, so I start on negative 3. Then my second number, negative 4, tells me that I'm going to go 4 steps. It's negative. Negative numbers go down. So I'm going to go down 4 hops. So from negative 3, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. We landed on negative 7. So negative 3 plus negative 4 equals negative 7. And I'm going to go box that just to make sure that I know that's my answer. All right, negative 6 plus 5. Go ahead and pause the video and try it on your own. Make sure you do it in pencil. That way if you mess up, you can erase it. And then come back and watch my solution. Okay, so our first number is negative 6. Something I've seen is that we know that parentheses mean that that number goes first, right? That's only if something's happening. These parentheses are just around them, so you know that this is negative and not a subtraction, because they look the same, okay? Anyway, so our first number is negative 6, so we're going to start on negative 6. So it goes 0, negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's negative 6. My second number, 5, tells me that I'm going to go 5 steps, and it's a positive 5, so I'm going to go up. So from negative 6, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Then I'm going to label my number line. Go 0. The first tick mark, if we're going by ones, next to 0 is negative 1. So negative 6 plus 5 is negative 1. Okay. All right, last one, we have a word problem. Woo. All right, you owe your parents $5 from buying popcorn. And then you find $2. What integer represents the amount of money you have now? If you owe money, you don't want to owe money. Boo, that's bad. That's negative, so it's negative 5. But then I add $2, so negative 5 plus 2. With a blank number line, you can make it what you need it to be. So we're going to start on negative 5. We're going to go 2 steps. It's a positive 2. Positive numbers go right. Okay. So I'm going to make negative 5 go here. And then 1, 2 to the right. and I landed on -3. So -3, you still owe $3. All right. I'm going to help you get started on the number lines. So I want you to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can copy these down if you'd like. And then you're going to keep labeling them. So you can pause the video and copy these down to get you started.